let it go roll forward a little bit and try to turn as much as you can. And then, yeah. Oh yeah. And then I would just stop it there. Stop. That's it. Okay. Alright, so first I'm going through and unhooking everything. And so I'm going to take the intake off, and then I'm going to go through and label every wire. Oh, man. Well, gonna need a new throttle position sensor. Probably ought to loosen the tension first. Okay, so I got the fan shroud out. The way I did it was loosen this and it came right out. One plus about having the 4-banger is that you got so much room in here. I mean, good gracious. But let's keep going. That's a ground. Make sure I mark that. Alright, now we're going to take out the intake manifold. So it's for the intake, it's this one, and there's one down here, there's one down here, and there's one over here. The rest are for the exhaust. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's oil dripping out of this. I don't think there should be oil dripping out of the intake. Alright, so at this point I've got pretty much all the wires undone. It's that bird's nest over there. Next thing I need to do is take out that bracket and what else? I see a ground back there I need to take out. See, this is an instance where having one of those wrenches with a lot of clicks would come in handy.
I like how they put this nice convenient hole in here for...
Right. I wonder what that little hose is.
What little hose?
On the back, it just goes from one to the other.
Well, it this is, if this thing had an automatic transmission, that's your transmission cooler for an automatic.
Oh.
You know, they probably make one radiator for both.
Right, right.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing we got is your
intercooler.
This is for the this is your evaporator for your air conditioner.
Well, I mean, I don't care about AC.
Well, I don't know if it's going to get in the way or not, because see, this thing's got to come this way to go up.
Yeah. Well, but not that. I mean, maybe if it was a 6-cylinder, it would be a...
Well, all right. I mean, well, if you're not worried about the evaporator, you know, I mean, the radiator's more important. So.
Right.
Now that we look at it, see the timing pulley and the water pump are separate.
Yeah.
See, I thought the water pump, when I was looking at that, see, I thought it was all one piece. But right. See, the water pump and the thermostat are two different critters.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. All right, so now what we got to look at is, do we want to loosen the bolts from the block, or do we want to loosen the bolts from the motor mounts? And that's, I don't think it matters. We got enough width. If we do these, it'll be a little bit easier. I'm just not so sure how much of this is going to clear.
I think we can come over some more. I mean, that thing was loose. Like, when I unbolted it, it like basically fell off.
Well, you know, both of the manifolds are supposed to, they share the same bolts, don't they?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's loose enough. Now we can put the ratchet on it.
Nice.
On these are flat ratcheting wrenches. If you put it in like this, it always locks in this direction. If you look at the way they're angled, this way is loosened. So if it's leaning, that's supposed to be the way they do it. Sometimes they get it backwards, but
that is good to know.
so you know which way it rotates. It doesn't have a directional arrow.
If it's going this way,
Yeah.
you tighten. If it's going this way, you loosen. Never knew that.
Now we gotta go up underneath, look at the ones underneath, and see how hard they're to get to, because I got really long, I've got some socket extensions that are this long, so if you know, to get up to those with wobble, what you call it, you know, so that you can do that.
Right, okay. Man.
Okay, so your starter's free now.
That's good.
So you shouldn't have any more wires.
Okay, so we need to find a support for the transmission when we take out the motor. What we would normally do is just put a jack stand under it or a block of wood or something, but we want to be able to roll the Jeep in and out because the back needs to kind of stick out of the garage when we have the engine crane in front of it. So what we were going to do is just tack a piece of angle iron or square tube from this frame rail to that frame rail. So we're going to come down with the angle iron, go across with the square tube, put a block of wood between the square tube and the transmission. That way it'll be supported, but we can still roll the Jeep forward and backwards. Just slide it over, yeah. There, that, yeah.
It's out of the way now.
Okay, so you mean just...
It'll drop 1/4 inch and it'll rest on this.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We just gotta remember that when we put the new one in.
Well, we may end up having to jack the motor up a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. We're still going to have to do a lot of tugging to get the bolts back in. And anyway, that's just a given.
Sounds good.
Because it doesn't have to. It just has to. It's supported back here.
Yeah.
And this, you know, this ought to hold it.
Yeah, right.
We can go to start loosening bolts now, unless you want to start with the crane.
I guess let's just hook it up and then we can loosen.
All right, see what we can do about loosening.
Yeah. Might need an extension for the top one. There it is. There it is. Oh yeah.
You get it?
Got broke the bottom one loose.
Well, I heard it.
Okay. Are you able to reach in from the top and fit that socket on there?
Probably could, yeah. No, there's a whole lot of stuff in the way.
Oh.
The air conditioner evaporator's in the way. Can you go back from there if you have a long extension?
Not really. Alright, so last time we were trying to get these bolts on the passenger side. They're very difficult to get to. I was able to loosen the bottom one. I was worried I was going to strip the top one, or the middle one, excuse me. because we had a 3/4 and the one that's in there is a 19. So what we were thinking about doing, or what I was advocating for, was just going into the passenger side and cutting a hole in the, like, right under the radio pretty much. You know, I'm not worried about doing that, but we did some more research, and apparently online they're saying that the only way to do it without taking the transmission out with it is to lower the transmission, and it'll get it at an angle where we can get the bolts out. So that's what we're going to do. We don't think we're going to have to take this off because we can just let the transmission rest on that and unbolt the skid plate and do it from there. So we'll see. Alright, that's the last one.
Alright, well, let's see what it does. We'll see how far down it's going to come before it stops.
Oh, it stopped.
See, like I said, the skid plate's free, but the transmission is still...
It's on this.
It's resting on that.
Because normally that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, well, you can drop it down more because, like I said, that block of wood is solid right now, so I can take that out and we can drop it down some more.
Yeah, I guess let's do that and see what it looks like, yeah.
I mean, starter goes straight on. It's not attached to anything.
Are you able to, like, hold it on as I just, like, yeah, hold the, yeah.
I'm going the wrong way.
Am I?
Just, no kidding.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Oh my god.
Ow.
What was that?
That was me. No, the universal just popped out. We're on it now. Perfect.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, it did.
Must have broke when you did that.
Got it.
Got it.
There we go.
That's one. Okay. All right, the motor's free. So now, if you're thinking all the bolts are free,
I think.
in 2020 hindsight, we might have to take the motor mounts completely loose from the frame. You see
Oh yeah.
down? You got a shaft that goes into the clutch.
Oh.
And that's got to be, you got to pull that forward in order to do that. And I think that's why we have to undo these first. Transmission shaft is hitting it, and so it's got to slide forward at least an inch.
It looks like they're only on there with one bolt each.
I think there's two there. There's a saddle. There's got to be more than one bolt. Hold it. That's a lot of weight. All right. Then what we'll do is let her back down just a little bit. Let's see. All right, we're loose here. All right, let's take those loose and see what happens. Ain't much of a bolt. I have a feeling though that there's another bolt attached to this thing somewhere. This thing is not peeling up. There's another bolt there somewhere. Thank God for long extensions.
Yep. So the engine has to slide forward, so we're taking the engine mount off. There's one on the top, you can see the hole for it, and there's also one coming in from the bottom, which is what we're taking out now.
take a look at that. Okay, so it's
You're definitely going to want to replace these.
got one with a stud and one with a bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, these have seen better days.
You can say that again. I want you to steady it.
Steady it. All right.
And let's see.
Oh, something happened. Yeah, you got friction on the.
Well, it
Yep.
should be free.
Yeah, it's
Should
free.
Come forward to me.
Okay.
Okay. Are you worried about this air conditioner?
I mean, not really.
Well, what I was going to say is we could put a piece of cardboard in front of this thing just in case this thing comes forward and banging. Okay. Make sure it's not hitting on anything. Exhaust manifold is
Oh,
what?
the coil pack,
What's it hooked to?
the distributor, and the spark plugs.
Is it attached to something?
Okay, we should be good now. Oh, manifold might be. Oh, there we go. Good.
Okay, it's not touching the manifold.
So here we can see the problem. There's two. It's in two spots. So you see this motor mount. I don't know if you can see. There's a hole right there. That's where one of the rods hit. And then also under the oil pan. Alright, so we just took that engine mount off, and this gives you a better idea of the hole. And I don't know if you can see in there is all of the debris. Well, that's intact, but definitely needed replacement. Oh, look at that.
Antifreeze. Not good.
Yeah,
You did definitely poke a hole in the block.
definitely. Wow. So that's where all my antifreeze went. I didn't drain like anything out of the radiator.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's what's left of the motor oil there on top.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's coming out no problem. Thought it was gonna pop or something.
No, no. Some of them will pop, but this one didn't.
If you don't have a puller, those holes are threaded, so you can just put a bolt through there and do it that way.
These are way too loose. Gonna hit it with a hammer.
Oh, there it is.
Time machine, not too bad a shape.
Yeah.
Is it worth saving?
No.
No.
It's interesting that
It's in such good shape.
That's all it was. Well, yeah, I mean, I can pressure wash it, but that's about all I can do. I don't. No. And the only problem we're going to have is I don't think it's going to make a full 360.
It might. If it weren't for the chain.
Well, it's loose enough that if we take the pump off, we can do it.
Yeah.
This is a timing wrench tool.
Oh.
So you can't get down there and swing the wrench, but you can get this in here, loosen it just enough so that you can move this around, move the timing around. It's a handy little wrench to have.
Huh.
This is a KD tool, 1/2 inch. Since I can swing a wrench,
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. You'll see the whole distributor can turn now. Well, this one's kind of snug, but on these, I think the timing is adjusted by the computer. And I think it only goes in one way.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
So that way we don't have to mess with any of the timing.
Hopefully not. All we got to do is make sure the wires go in the same place. So you got these two things right here. And then I think it just
Pull it up.
goes straight out. Yeah, see, it's fixed. This is fixed.
Okay.
So that it only goes in one way. All we got to do is get it top dead center and find the number 1 on here, which is marked on the top of the cap.
Okay.
And once you do that, your firing order is already established, because it's 1342.
Yeah, that's right.
I see this was blanked off too, so they've stopped using the mechanical pump. And I swear that's going to be the easiest access you'll ever get to spark plugs.
Okay.
How about that? Normally when you have stuff flying around inside the crankcase, this tube gets damaged. You can put the dipstick back in here if you want. Yeah, right there. You don't have to line it or anything, because we know where it's going right there. Now that's perfect. I don't think they're going to come off. I lied.
Well, you know, that impact's pretty good.
Well, that's right. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, man, these things weren't all tight. Not as tight as I thought they would be.
We gotta check all the torque specs when we put things back.
Yeah, well, that's a given.
Yeah.
Well, clutch is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. And see, your clutch plate, pressure plate's not in bad shape.
Yeah.
And your flywheel is perfect. Yeah, we reuse all that.
Nice.
It should just pull right off.
Yeah.
What I was looking for, so I guess it doesn't matter. There's no alignment pin, so you're okay.
Okay. Here's that piece below the hole. Now for the last two, make sure I'm okay. So if anything goes awry,
I can hold this, keep it from dropping.
you know.
Is it falling? It's
Not yet. There's one more. One more.
No, I mean it didn't move. That's why I was.
Oh. Okay. And of course, that's a 13.
Okay. Did you get them all?
Yeah, they're all.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. Oh man.
All right. Just ease her on down. Don't worry about the gasket.
So here's what it looks like on the inside. Lots of bits and pieces.
Piston. That's a piston you're looking at.
Yeah, here's a piston ring. Piston. Guess I just broke a piston in half. so that's all the carnage. This is how you keep the order of the bolts. So while we've got the engine out, I'm going to take the opportunity to degrease and pressure wash this engine bay. I had a leaky power steering fluid reservoir that I've since gotten a replacement for, but that just got all this gunk, especially on the driver's side here. You think I should mess with the bag anymore?
Yeah, for the looks of it, you're probably gonna have to hit it again with the gunk.
Oh yeah.
It just looks like it needs another coat.
Yeah. Okay. So for getting this Jeep back in, we don't have the electronics hooked up anymore, so we can't use the winch. So we're trying to figure some sort of snatch block system to be able to pull it back in, since we don't have any real snatch blocks or pulleys here. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so while I've got the engine out, I am going to address some of these wires. I've got like some frayed wiring for my O2 sensor. Working on the map sensor connection right now, just making sure everything's soldered and in there good, because if I need to repair it, you know, when the engine's in, it's a lot more of a hassle, so I'm just taking care of it now. Alright, I'm back at the junkyard again. This time I'm going to be trying to find some electrical connectors to replace with mine. One thing I like about this place that I haven't seen anywhere else is that, so this junkyard company has like 4 locations, and they consolidate all of their trucks and SUVs to one location, which I think makes it very convenient because everything's in one place. Alright, here's a Cherokee. This is probably the closest I'll get to anything electrical wise. Okay. Oh, well, there's one I need. Man, if I needed a transfer case, it'd be easy to take out. Some axle shafts too. They look, I don't know, they might be a reason that they're still there. I think this is what I needed. This O2 sensor connector. I need the male end. I think this is it. It's got nice length to it, so that's pretty nice.
The water pump is 22. Like the other gasket?
Yeah, it got like caught or something.
You want me to hold it?
I think it's okay.
So, this all just rests on here, and this drops into this groove right here. And I don't think we're going to need any silicone. No, you're not. All we got to do is just drop the oil pan on. We'll just have to wiggle it around, jiggle it around till we get.
Looks like they're all pretty much lining up there.
All right, now there's a bag with 4 short screws in the timing cover thing because they go right here.
It's a thick gasket.
They don't want to play. See what I want? I don't want to compress the gasket too much until we get all the bolts in.
Well, also I think the gasket's thicker than, you know, OEM.
These are not seating, and I don't like that.
Yeah. You know, maybe that's what the stud's for, because you can ease up on the nut.
Well, no, these are fixed.
Oh.
They're made that way, but it's not reaching the threads.
What if we just pushed it down real good?
Well, that's what the 5/16 is for. And that's as tight as I dare go on that until without distorting something.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, for torquing these, the manual said 7 foot-pounds for the 1/4 inch and 11 for the 5/16. Okay, so we're about to put the distributor on. What you do is you find number 1, which it's etched out right there. Kind of blurry on here, but you find that, and then you make a mark where that is in relation to the distributor. So we made our mark here, okay, and then make it so your rotor is pointing the same direction as that mark. And you also gotta mark your 0 at top dead center.
And the way you can tell is you can turn the 2 push rods because there's no pressure on them.
Oh.
So that you're on the flat side of the distributor. Now,
Okay.
the problem you have is this is a helical gear right here. So when you put this in, that helical gear is going to contact the camshaft and does that.
Okay.
So now what I got to do is I've got to take it back out, go 1 more gear. See, and you have to monkey with it because see the problem is now
It's got to line up with the oil pump.
you got to line the oil pump up. And it should be perfect. That's
Man.
that should do it. Now, you've got long bolts for here, right?
Yes, they should be They'll either be in the bag with the alternator mount or it's a 15.
Can you feel that thing click?
There it is, yeah. Let's see the
A little bit back this way. Okay, let go. Boy, that makes it easy. I didn't realize it had all these holes in it.
Yeah. That would be a pain to have to put a new helicoil on it. Or tap it with a bigger bolt. Maybe that's what they did.
Maybe so.
There it is.
Yes, it was fine thread. The thing was pointing straight up, wasn't it? Pretty much?
Yeah.
This is pipe thread, so you just have to keep going until it gets tight.
Yeah.
And this is the last turn right here. Straight up and down.
Okay. Little wrench.
And see, it just plugs right in. Just kidding, just
Yeah.
kidding, just kidding. Is it turning free or is it?
Might be able to go up a hair more. Oh, that's out.
Okay.
That wasn't too bad.
Slide it back just a little bit. Alrighty.
Now for the clutch.
These holes are not spaced evenly.
Okay.
And I think it's oriented like it's supposed to be right now. See, these two right here are further apart than the other two.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at the bottom there of the crankshaft, I think that's the way it goes on. Now,
Yep.
this thing's heavy, so what I want you to do is get out at least one bolt and get underneath it. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're there. Yep.
But my question is how we're going to keep this thing from turning when you're cranking on it like that.
There you go.
It's just going to stop at the webbing.
Yeah.
There you go. Her aunt up there. Now we got to go the quarter turn. Not really. I don't have a torque angle gauge is my problem. God, I wish I did. Without a torque angle gauge, this is really going to be hard to do because we don't have a straight line on this thing. Find your reference on that on the threaded part.
Yeah.
See if you can bring it up. Oh, you can. It's not fighting you too much.
Not too bad. You think that's good?
Yeah, just a skosh more. Right there. That's perfect.
How's that? Maybe a little more?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think you're fine.
Yeah. Me too.
It's not going anywhere.
It tells you which side's up. Flywheel side is facing up.
Find my white mark.
I think this one is crooked. No, it didn't. Okay, so it's in. It's just loose.
Alright, so now okay, so now we just bolt the rest of it up.
Okay, for the 2.5, it's 23 foot-pounds. For the 4 liter, it is 40. I think it says like it means they want us to, like, even when it's not all the way tight yet.
Yeah, when they bottom out, that's when you start torquing them.
What's that?
All right,
Cool. Alrighty.
that's all we need to do. Now I'm gonna back it up a little bit because
Yeah.
it is gonna.
Come forward.
Okay, I need to pull it towards you a little bit. Gotta clear that power steering pump.
Yeah.
How we looking?
Good over here. Is it hitting the manifold?
Let me stop. Take a look. See what we're hitting on this side. Yeah, the manifold's in the way.
Alright.
Yeah, it's gonna have to come to you
It's fine.
a whole lot to clear that manifold.
I think this thing just fell off.
Your whole pipe came loose.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes it easier. Alright.
That solves a lot of problems.
I guess it can come down a little more.
Okay. Put your hand in there in between and see where the pilot shaft is for the.
Yeah, I think it needs to come.
I'm wondering if we have to jack the transmission up.
Might have to.
To-
Unless the engine can go lower, then it would.
No, because these motor mounts are in the way. See, it's got to go.
I mean, it's lined up with the pilot. Like, I don't know how it's. Oh, it's because we had it hooked up closer to the front of the engine last time, I think. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
The
The chain's in exactly the same place we had it because I marked everything.
I just thought, I figured like the chain was like on this one.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Or like the hook was.
Yeah.
It needs to come forward like 3 inches.
You mean backwards?
The engine yeah.
Well, the only thing I can think to do is I can take that bolt out and push it forward, but I'm resting against the winch plate. I guess it's not going to go any further forward.
Why don't we just unbolt the winch and slide it over to the side? 4 bolts. Slide it that way. We get this much room. That ought to do it.
Right. We gotta eyeball it again.
Is that it?
That's it. Okay,
Can
now
you get behind the crane and just push it?
I got it.
I think I got it. Push the crane. Push the crane forward.
Push it forward?
Yep.
No, go. As far as it'll go.
Is it hitting the bumper?
No.
Okay.
It had to gotta drop the motor down. I mean, the motor's got to come down, but you got to hold it like it is.
Okay.
And we are still at max extension.
Still probably needs to. I mean,
What?
it's on the hole. It's just not the right angle. It really needs to come down more.
Okay. Now it's resting on the motor mounts.
Oh. Jim,
Go up.
No. It's in the thing. Come look at. Can you look down from the driver's side?
Yeah.
You see, there's two nubs that are hitting each other on one side, and no nubs on one side. See that? They're hitting each other.
What?
These two nubs,
Yeah, they're supposed to.
and there's 0 nubs on the other side.
Well, why have we got 2 over here and nothing on the other side?
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, well that was probably because that's the way they came. The that bushing on this side needs to be over there. Well, it's an alignment. That's how it lines everything up.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about that. There's supposed to be 2 on the transmission.
Transmission only has 1.
Well, really, you only need those 2. I mean, you can use 3, but it doesn't matter.
Do they hammer out?
The one over here is hitting the other one. You just have to get channel locks to jerk it out. Need bigger channel locks?
For vice grips.
Okay, I got those too.
It's like it needs to come all the way back out.
Okay.
Okay. Might do it. All right, pull the engine all the way out. Pull it to the driver's side. Yep. Okay.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming now.
There you go.
There you go.
Come towards the passenger.
Sorry. I'm having a very hard time maneuvering this thing.
Here, I'll push your front wheels. Come down.
Down.
Yep. More.
Down.
Yep. Keep going.
Huh?
If you can, keep coming.
Down?
Yeah.
Man.
Because it's got to go down, and then I got to slide it in, and it's got to come back up. It's
Yeah,
the angle.
See, the problem is, now you're resting on the motor mount brackets.
Okay, come up some. If these could just go, if they could straddle the mount.
Well, they're pretty much straddled right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, except the passenger side is. Yeah, I don't know. Here, can you pull it out again? I don't know if it's even lined up. All right, come forward. Lined up. Come forward.
That's as far forward as I can go. I'm at it.
Okay.
But you're not. Your pilot bearing's not in. It's probably destroyed by now. At the rate we've been banging on this thing, and it should just go right in. It should just go right in.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't feel it because it's not lining up, and I think we're going to have to pull the motor back out to make sure that pilot bearing's lined up, because I think we've given all this jostling around, we've knocked it out of alignment.
All right.
Take this tool and see if that pilot bearing is lined up still. Can you get it in there?
Yeah, I mean, it goes in.
It's lined in clean. It's
Yeah.
going in clean.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you come under here and let this let the transfer case down, reposition the jack under the transmission, and then jack that up?
All right. Let's do that.
I just don't want this thing to fall on me while I'm under it. Okay. Now go up. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. That should be good. Okay.
You want to come down a little bit more?
Yeah, a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Well.
That's
right.
close. That's
Yep, give me a
close.
bolt.
Is that the right length for that one?
Yeah, it is. Can I have a impact?
Well, the top of the bell house is not touching. Like the motor's got to go up a little bit, but
Yeah,
or the transmission down, one of the two.
Alright, yeah, can you bring the transmission down a little? Keep it going.
Is that helping?
It's being blocked by the skid plate.
What's blocked?
The plate of the jack. There.
It's free now.
Okay. Now that sucker's in there.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean...
You got a couple more bolts.
Yeah.
to go.
So I think we got everything. We'll find out when we drop the transfer case.
Well, the transfer case is dropped. I mean,
Well, like, we gotta unbolt it and drop it to tighten it.
oh,
That's how we did it last time.
all right.
But the bar will hold it.
Now it says here, install the remaining flywheel housing bolts, which would be the bell housing, tighten them to 28 foot-pounds. That seems awful light for those big bolts.
Yeah, they had a lot more than that.
That's what it says.
Well, that's fine.
I'd say you get them on there as tight as you possibly can and not worry. Well, it's got to come up because I got to get this. Things got to go in a hole over here, and it's got to go over about 2 inches. Wait a minute, I'm about an inch forward. It's really not square.
You know what it is I bet, is that the skid plate is still flopping down. If that was more level, I think it's just making things out of whack because it's down right.
Yeah, just raise up the tail end of the skid plate. Try that. Okay, that's good. Take a look at your mount on your side.
Oh, I'm pretty much good.
Okay, well I've got just a little bit of room here. If you can lower this thing down just a tad.
Okay.
Okay, stop.
Oh.
I know.
So when we were putting the skid plate back up, the drive shaft got bound up. It slid off the shaft there. And when I was trying to get it back on, I busted the U-joint, so that's one more thing I got to replace. I don't know if you can see in there, the needle bearings are all over the place.
Whoa! Smoked the motor. I was pushing it a little hard. Yeah, I don't think this one likes it. I'm gonna have to go with the bigger one.
Okay, so this is the exhaust gasket that came with the engine. You can see where the injectors would go. It has this mesh right here. The idea with this, having this mesh, is that when the injectors squirt the gas in, it separates the particles and further atomizes the gas. This will probably work fine for anyone. I'm just a little bit wary of using the mesh. I feel like after a while it may get clogged up. The better way to have better atomization for your fuel is to replace your fuel injectors with 4-pole injectors, which is what I'm planning on doing later on. So I just picked up this standard exhaust gasket. I mean, this way I won't have to worry about it.
Turn my fan off. You drive stuff in because strip threads, cross threads, and then you're sunk.
Yep.
Don't over tighten them now because you're going into cast iron.
I'm replacing my throttle position sensor from when I broke it, taking all the wires out. This has a gasket, doesn't it?
Yeah.
4-liter gasket.
Get them both, doesn't matter.
I don't know if you can see these, kind of nasty, so I'm going to clean that out. But in a perfect world I would be upgrading to 4-pole injectors, but this way I can see how it does with the stock, and then, you know, have basically have a constant to compare the 4-pole injectors to, because if I go with a new engine and the 4-pole injectors and I see a power increase, I'm going to ask myself, is it because it's a new engine or is it because it's the new injectors? So now that I've got those in, I think I'm ready for the arduous task of hooking up all the electrical connections. So this is really not going to be fun. So let's see how it goes. Okay, now it's time to put the belt back on, and I don't have a diagram for the belt routing, but I just looked at Jim's and we compared notes, and I think I know how it's supposed to go in, so we'll see.
There you go. Well, okay.
I also need to tighten the tensioner pulley. So I kind of mangled the radiator when I pressure washed it. There was a bunch of gunk on it, but it's probably not leaking. It looks like just the fins are bent, but you know, I was thinking about getting a radiator pressure tester, but when I looked up the price, it was more than buying a new radiator, so I just bought a new radiator. And even if it wasn't leaking, it'll still improve the flow of it, so.
Well, I definitely think you ought to consider investing in an electric fan. Mine was about as easy as you can do because it was bolts right up to these brackets where the shroud is, and the thermostat was included.
Oh, that's nice.
And all I had to do was run the wire. It was one of those things, and this is brain dead simple. Of a lot of the things I do on that Jeep, that was probably one of the easier ones, and the one that to me has been probably the most rewarding because, like I said, it's never ever overheated.
Yeah, that is nice.
And you know, the few times that I have taken it off road and gone slow, you know how you're creeping along in first gear, low range.
Yeah.
You're not pulling a lot of air over the radiator.
Right.
And this thing will just cycle through just like it did, like normal, no big deal.
Yeah, when I was...
What I would suggest with that is to turn it down so that you don't, when you're reaching in there, you're not going to cut yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get it as low as possible, out of the way as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like those type anyway, but you know, as long as they work.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was doing one of them, when I was transferring them from the old hose, I lost the grip of it and it like shot across the room, and I was like, I probably better put on the safety glasses.
Yeah. and watch it go too, because you gotta keep up with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, power steering reservoir.
Oh yeah.
That's one other thing you got to do. Well, how are you going to mount that thing if that bracket's broken?
I have these two holes and I can like crisscross some zip ties.
And you do the same thing on here. I still do not understand why they put that positive terminal next to the
Yeah,
hood light.
Right, yeah.
It should be the other way.
should be the other way around, shouldn't it?
Alright, here we go.
You see any sparks?
No.
Okay, good. Well, that's a major plus.
Well, I thought that sparks meant that it was, you know, that you had the juices flowing.
No, that's a good thing. Nothing smoking, so you don't have any wires crossed.
It might be that I need to tighten this hot. I didn't want to over tighten it, but it's still kind of jiggly.
I spread them apart a pretty good bit when I did it.
We weren't supposed to hit the terminals of the battery.
I didn't hit it hard.
So we're filling up the filter so that it won't be empty when it starts. So we're putting conventional oil in it, which may seem counterintuitive, but it's what you want to do when you put a new engine in it.
If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise.
Alright, so we're going to crank it with the coil unplugged.
Yeah.
That way it'll get the oil flowing. Then we're going to crank it for real. Just go ahead and do it.
Just crank it.
Okay, whatever you say. Oh, I don't have very much fuel.
Well, that's all right. Crank it.
Alright. Might need a jump.
Plan B.
I thought you disconnected the coil.
Yeah, we did, but it's still going to turn over.
You gotta crank it faster than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it was good for it to just go up slowly.
No, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Oh.
All right.
Does that thing jump, or is it just...
Yes, it's got a 40 amp jump start.
Okay. Alright, here goes nothing. Still not.
Is your lights going on your panel?
Yeah, radio's on. And you know.
Oh, so you're getting juice all the way through.
Yeah, I wonder if... Do you think there's something that's... You know...
I'm just thinking the engine's tight.
Oh. Maybe my starter is not strong enough.
Don't know.
But the starter didn't sit outside, I don't think.
Oh, it was in here the whole time. It's showing, it's charging.
Oh.
So battery may have been low.
Yeah, I mean, it was from April, so, you know, it could have just been from sitting on the shelf. you
Yeah.
know.
Stop. Did you get anything on the oil light?
Oh, I didn't look. So,
I smell gas, so
Well.
it means it's, you know, the injectors are working. So crank it again and see what you get. See if you'll get oil pressure. 'Cause that's the main thing we got to worry about.
Okay. Nothing.
You're not getting any oil pressure?
No.
Don't do anything, just let it start.
Okay.
Wow.
Right?
Well, it did exactly what I thought it would do. That little rattle at start was just because, you know, we should have cranked it a little bit more without the coil, but that didn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
Because it fired right up and smoothed right away, so there was plenty of oil in there.
Yeah.
And I think your battery's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's
I can test it again. 12.61. It's measuring 491 cold cranking amps, and it's rated at 700, which means that we've used it to start the car. And it just hadn't charged up. But when the motor was running, she was the alternator was charging at 13.7, so you're good on your electrical. I think you're fine there.
okay.
Your battery just hadn't been charged
Yeah.
in a while, but
Okay.
so once you drive it, it'll be fine.
So I was gonna get a cold air intake, but they are pretty high priced for what I think is no good reason. So I just bought some intake tubes and a filter and some couplings. I'm gonna do it that way. By the way, this is the intake that I came up with. So 3-inch tubes going down to a 2.5 for the throttle body, elbow, and then I zip tied it. Oh man, it feels so weird to be driving this. It's been it's been like 9 months since the engine blew out. I'm surprised I know how to drive a stick still. I hope everything's like secure. So I've been driving the Jeep about 4 days now, and I still don't have any engine lights. Don't mind the seatbelt light. I do have my seatbelt buckled. I think that that's an issue related to the airbags, but I think I'll do a separate video on that. The only issue I'm still seeing is that when the engine's cold, it's having some trouble getting oil pressure. I'll probably do a separate video on that, trying to troubleshoot it. The other thing is it's still a little hard to start. And I think that could be due to the engine just being new and tight. It could also be that my starter's on the fritz. It could even be that the battery's not so great, even though I put a new battery in it. So, but if you like this video, you watch it all the way to the end, I really appreciate it, and I'd really appreciate a thumbs up on it if you could. And if you're into this type of stuff, then, you know, maybe consider subscribing. I'm gonna have a lot more videos coming out now that I've got the Jeep running, so. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I really appreciate y'all watching, and if you got any questions, just leave a comment and I'll do my best to try to answer every one of them. So, but thanks for watching. Oh great, that's my winch cover, better get that.